Hi there, welcome to another episode where we talk about something that might surprise even those who work with transfer pricing every day. What does the United Nations, the UN, have to do with transfer pricing? Because most of us think that the UN, as an organization that runs peacekeeping missions, delivers humanitarian aid, or hosts debates in New York. But the truth is, the UN has its own transfer pricing manual for over a decade now, and it's actually quite good. So why does the UN care about transfer pricing in the first place? To understand this, let's go back to basics. Transfer pricing, the prices at which companies in the same corporate group trade with each other, affects pretty much every big multinational on the planet. These transactions have a huge impact on how much tax is paid and where it's paid. And there is a problem. Developed countries, members of the OECD, have long had their own rules, guidelines, databases, and teams of experts to deal with transfer pricing. But for many developing countries in Africa, Asia, and South America, the topic is much more challenging. Why? Because they often lack experienced staff, don't have access to comparable data, and their economies are more volatile. And that's exactly why the UN decided to step in and help. They created their own transfer pricing manual written specifically for developing countries in mind. The full name is United Nations Practical Manual on Transfer Pricing for Developing Countries. The first published in 2013 and the most recent edition came out in 2021. And the best part, it's completely free. You can download it as a PDF from the UN's website. So what's actually in the manual? It explains in simple terms how the arm's length principle works, how to perform a comparability analysis, how to prepare documentation, how to choose the right pricing method, and how to resolve disputes. It also includes examples, exercises, and practical tips tailored to the realities of the countries with limited resources. And that's what makes it different from the OECD guidelines, because the OECD assumes that tax authorities and companies already have experience, access to data, and big legal teams. But the UN says if you don't have all of that, you can still do this properly. And here's how. Does that mean that UN manual replaces the OECD guidelines? No, it's more like supplement, written in a simpler, more accessible way, and more practical for countries that are still building their capacity. Even if you work in Europe or the US, the UN manual can still help you to see things from a different perspective. It shows you that transfer pricing doesn't always have to be as complicated as it seems. So, to sum up, the UN actually has quite a lot to do with transfer pricing. Through its manual, it helps developing countries protect their tax base and better manage international transactions. And for us, using this manual can be a great way to gain new insights and maybe even simplify our own analysis. You can find the link to the UN manual in the description of this video. Happy reading and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.